Welcome aboard the Millennial Falcon. We are parked in the hangar bay today for a routine maintenance. Join us for a game of Dejarik, sit back, or just to hang out. Make sure to subscribe to Star Lores on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. But these live streams are tailored specifically for YouTube, so make sure you to sub to us. But if you do want to get an audio only version of the episode, we do release those on patreon.com/Star Lores. And if you become a member for just $3 a month, you can get access to all the live streams and bonus episodes and whatnot. So yeah, anyways, just another day to hang out and talk about some Star Wars, what's going on outside of the in-universe lore. We kind of, I know some people like to discuss and talk about that, so we thought we'd dive into some of that today. Anyways, but before we get into that, we'll do some introductions. Obviously, me as Jordan, and then Christian, you're here with us.
Yeah,
Howdy.
your co-pilot, co-host. I'm always here.
Yeah. And we got two other guests with us. Frank, if you want to introduce yourselves.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? It's myself, and I seem to have picked up a strange
a youngling.
A youngling, exactly. Yeah.
Freshly abducted.
Yeah, exactly. For the Jedi Order, for the greater good, for the cause.
Yeah. Right. Sweet. Christian, shall we jump into the first topic and get the juices flowing here for us?
Yeah, let's get into some news and rumors. So Tony Gilroy, who's the director of Andor, which for people who aren't aware is a very popular Star Wars series on Disney Plus, had recently had an interview, I believe, with a magazine. What was it? Variety, I want to say. A higher publication, Vanity Fair, where he was extolling the virtues of Kathleen Kennedy. Just kind of complimenting her. He was talking about how he wanted to quit the project. It was going to be too much work, and that Kathleen Kennedy was very accommodating and pushed him to complete the project. Andor is quite well liked and celebrated currently amongst the Star Wars community. I haven't got to it yet, so I'm not going to throw my accolades behind it personally, but I do know it is fairly popular even with people who don't typically like Disney Star Wars. But yeah, it's kind of the question up in the air about whether or not Kathleen Kennedy doesn't get the credit she deserves for the successful projects. We also have things like Rogue One. Like, she's been in charge of Lucasfilm pretty much since they got handed over to Disney. So yeah, are we just like all overly critical with her, or is there room for celebrating kind of the wins? Some quotes from the article itself is that Kennedy, quote, protected the show and protected me. This isn't a quote, but she's also proved extremely willing to take risks, even with material as sacred as Star Wars. Another quote, when we started challenging Kathy just kept saying yes. Gilroy recalled, "Oh, I'm going to put the first scene in a brothel. Okay. I'm going to have them kill 2 cops. Okay. We want the production designer from Chernobyl. Okay, good idea." She backed our play and got everything that we were doing. So, yeah, are we, and we've talked about Kathleen Kennedy before on the show. Obviously not very big fans ourselves, but yeah, just kind of bringing the question back of, are we too critical with her? Should we celebrate the wins? I think we have in the past also discussed kind of her previous projects. Like, she was very much involved. I guess I shouldn't say much involved. We don't know to what extent she was integral to the efforts, but she had worked on some pretty big movies with Steven Spielberg and George Lucas in the past. So yeah, just throwing that out.
I mean, some of this feels a little bit maybe AstroTurfed or something, or Disney was like, go say something good about Kathleen Kennedy in Vanity Fair, just because of all the bad press. And who knows? I can't say for sure, but don't bite the hand that feeds if you're
If you know
Tony
what's good for you.
Gilroy. Yeah.
Yeah, I am very much in the same boat. I think definitely also is kind of post hoc. Like, I'm sure they have a finger on the pulse of the community and how much Kathleen is disliked, and that this is probably just a way to try and what's the word I'm looking for? Rehabilitate her image. And it doesn't to me come off as like she had a huge hand in the creative process. It just sounds like she actually doesn't really care about the project and just like approved whatever they threw in front of her.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. I wasn't there, obviously, so I can't say how involved she was. But from even that quote, I don't think she was like some creative mastermind or anything like that. And also, to me, it just seems careless. Like she doesn't care. She just, yeah. And we also know from other projects how negative she had been with some of her other directors. Like a lot of Star Wars projects, she gets involved with and meddles with it, and directors get fired, and scripts get rewritten, and a whole bunch of chaos stems from her involvement. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and chalk this up to a PR campaign more than anything.
Yeah. In the comments, Praxis says the sum of her total is meh at best. I'm okay with the show ending. Okay. So he's talking. Just so I'm clear, the sum of her total, that's Kathleen Kennedy. But the show ending, you're specifically talking about Andor.
Yeah, that's
so
been my assumption. Yeah.
Just let me know that we're clear on that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Andor. If Andor is the only thing good they have going, maybe they probably shouldn't end it if they want to keep making money.
Yeah, I will also throw out there that even if she is the shining beacon of like Andor, and again, I'll throw Rogue One in the mix, like the creative mastermind behind it, which again I don't believe. Having 2 hits out of 1 million is not a good record, right? Like even a broken clock can be right twice a day. So
yeah,
I've got kind of a, I don't know, I've got kind of like a
contrarian take.
I don't know. Okay, like I am not a fan by any stretch of what she's done to Star Wars and how she's horribly like just I don't know, assaulted the heart and soul, all that stuff, the politics, all that. Putting all that aside, there is something to be said about her. As I was talking to some of my friends who are in the film industry at like a fairly high level, and like, I mean, like when you talk about her hits, like her first one of her like her big hits was like Jurassic Park, right? Like that's no small thing. And like the job of what is her title?
I don't know what her
Currently she's a
producer. So yeah, but
Okay.
like her job as a producer, like their job is to like incur all the people to carry out the vision of the film, right? So like she's clearly got like levels of competence in that area. I think personally, I think she just turned the dial up too much on her politics and started like maybe trying to be more creative, which I don't think she is. Now in terms of like Andor, I've seen the first season, super good, like super good. The second season I'm halfway through, as I have a child with me, and on some of those late nights I've been trying to get through it all, and I haven't quite finished it yet. I'm like more than 2/3 of the way through, and I will say like maybe we'll save it for another like review of Andor specifically or something on another live stream. But like there's some stuff in it that is like it is 100% worth a watch. I think some of the themes they touch on are actually like pretty cool. The characters, you guys, Mon Mothma in the second season specifically is like I think one of the best written female characters they've done in a while. In that like she perfectly exemplifies a strong feminine character without being like the classic overdone
Mary
girl
too.
boss. Yeah, no, like the girl boss. She's
Yeah.
like she's a complex written character, and it is so refreshing to see, especially in something like Star Wars, where they've just injected the whole like girl boss image, and they've turned that up to just an unbearable level. It's nice to see like she relies on other characters to carry out stuff she's not like used to doing, or and then like her political roles. It has a very Padme-esque feel to her writing, which is really good. Now, so I'm not trying to sing Kathleen Kennedy's praises on that, because obviously she had nothing to do with any of that. I
Yeah,
think
this is mostly
credit.
Tony Gilroy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say she didn't write the script. She didn't write the characters.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And again, I'm no fan of hers, but I think it's fair to give the devil its due, and that like I think we can recognize her ability, especially in some of her old stuff. However, what she's done to Star Wars is just absolutely unforgivable.
Unforgivable. Yeah.
Like it's just it's
I-
she's trashed the franchise like in its current state. Again, Andor, and I have friends who don't watch Star Wars, but they've watched Andor, and they're like, it's really good. They look forward to watching it.
That's a whole other sub discussion, which we'll maybe save for when we start getting around to reviewing those Andor
Let's
episodes.
let's not get
but-
too in the weeds just about Andor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan in the comments says it's the agenda she was pushing once she got some control over a franchise. Shouldn't be hard as a producer to recognize good and let it get made. Seems she just let the crap stuff through too. Yeah, it's probably true. Like when you're not exactly like an executive producer on a specific project, but you're overseeing like a whole sort of division of Disney. And you know, there may just be something. There's something. Let's just say between, I would say, the years of 2010 and 2022, there's just like something in the water, especially culturally. And there was like a really all the marketing agencies were all, you know, really pushing hard the girl boss, the woke stuff.
Yeah.
And again, you could do it
Successfully.
you could do it artfully, I could say. I think there's ways to do it artfully. That like can like kind of communicate what you're trying, like that message that you want to try to do, but in a way that's actually compelling. And they just kind of didn't really do that. And it kind of just got in that 12-year period I was mentioning, it kind of has just gotten like crazier and crazier near the end, and more preachy and whatnot. And I'm almost a little more cynical on Kathleen Kennedy. Like, I'm sorry to all like the truly dyed-in-the-wool progressive woke people. I don't think she actually believes any of it. I don't think she cares. I think she's just a cynical CEO who
runs a billion-dollar company. Yeah,
just loves power and loves.
Sounds like someone that progressives would really back is.
Yeah, exactly.
Multi-billion-dollar company. Yeah.
One last thing. In terms of that specific article in Tony Gilroy, perhaps what I was, I kind of was able to formulate my thoughts a little better. It sounds like she has returned to what made her recognizable and good at her job in the first place, in that she recognized that, hey, he's doing a good job with this, like just let him run with it.
Yeah.
So
let him cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that take talent though, just to not intervene?
That's what it sounds like. That's what I'm saying. Like, had she, you know, but also she greenlit, and the stuff that she like was pushing hard is some of the worst Star Wars content out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whenever she got involved with things, directors got fired, scripts got rewritten. So
bad.
In the chat here, Praxis mentioned Jurassic World series is as well, had potential and fell quick. Yeah, I honestly have a whole huge rant on the whole Jurassic Park franchise. However, to be fair, Kathleen was only involved in Jurassic Parks 1, 2, 3, like the original. I hesitate to call it a trilogy because it weren't really meant to be a trilogy.
I don't think she was involved in the
none of this new stuff, which is significantly lower quality as well.
It's literally AI slop, like, but it's not actually AI. It's just they're like trying to mimic AI slop with Jurassic World. Anyways, let's go into our next point here, Frankie, if you want to tee us off on the next one.
So, kind of running with the whole Kathleen Kennedy thing in general, which is funny. Sorry, hang on, I lost my spot here. So, the Rise of Skywalker, there was a comic book version that was released of the movie, and it it showed, like, during the peak of the movie, one of the criticisms that it was getting was when Rey, quote unquote, and all the Jedi, um, is fighting Palpatine. I don't know for you guys, but for me, like, I was kind of expecting and kind of hoping. I thought a cool thing would have been had they shown, you know, when you heard their voices, you kind of expected to see some forced ghosts or some kind of that stuff or something. It's like, again, they dropped the ball in so many ways in that movie. Sorry, different rant for a different time. But they released the comic book version, and it looks like kind of what the director wanted and what the people wanted was, yeah, like exactly that. In the comic book, I don't know if can I show it on the stream or no? Did we get dinged for that?
Yeah, if you have it handy, you can
And I got it
screen
here.
share. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a low tech way of doing it, but okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do a screen share, but
For audio listeners, just kind of describing the Rey scene where she's holding up the crossed lightsabers and says, "I am all the Jedi," and then you have all these apparitions of like Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Luke, Anakin, Plo Koon, Mace Windu, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Yoda, just a whole bunch of recognizable Jedi.
Yeah.
Their apparitions kind of behind her with their lightsabers drawn.
Yeah. And like, to be honest, I didn't even know there was comics coming out of all of that.
I mean,
Yeah.
they usually make a graphic novel adaptation of all these films, and
Yes.
typically they'll add a little bit of extra for the fans who actually want
for the
them.
novelizations and the
Yeah.
comic books, both they usually vary a little bit from the movies.
Yeah.
I
I just thought that was a funny thing.
Jonathan in the chat said would have been better for fan service than Chewie getting a medal. Okay.
Yeah,
continue.
that was just a small tidbit. I'm not sure if people were aware of that or not. I don't know. I thought that was kind of, the whole thing just opened wounds that I wanted left unsealed. But
I am curious if anyone has read these graphic novels. I realize they're pretty new, but if maybe it was a little better than the actual film, or if mostly the same, if there's any difference.
You can only rehabilitate so much.
Well, I know.
So
I still want to read Trevor Rowe's script for the third
original.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I'm actually not hopeful for it. I'm sure it was not great either.
Wait, was that released?
I don't know. I think he has it. I don't know if it was ever released or not.
Oh,
someone could
leaked it online or something.
Anyways, yeah, I kind of was going to there to just get to the broader conversation of just the state of Star Wars comic sales overall. And again, talking about Kathleen Kennedy, like the High Republic series is just an absolute flop. I was trying to find numbers for it.
I don't know if I would go that far.
High Republic, it has like super low sales.
But relative to what is the question? Okay. I've seen both sides of that coin. I've seen.
I was trying to find the numbers, and I couldn't find where they
generally. So
like
yes,
sales.
Yes, numbers. Very low sales. I do believe that is accurate and historically low for Star Wars. However, like all Western comics are doing terrible. They have been for many years, and like basically like manga is dominating the market for that. So
so that's what I was gonna say. Like Star Wars comic book sales specifically are actually doing very well. They are the flagship for Marvel right now, which is crazy because Marvel is
is that right?
Captain America, yeah,
like it's bigger than superheroes.
Yeah, so this again, it's all relative, right? So as you said, Jordan, like the overall comic sales are in the toilet anyways. So like being the best of the worst isn't really saying a whole lot. And a lot of the comic books currently have been on that downward trajectory for a while. So it's not saying a whole lot that, you know, they're beating out the pack. Really quickly too, I just wanted to address the image that Frankie put up on screen there. It is an interesting selection of Jedi they chose to be on that panel. There very much looks like they just pulled the Jedi Council from episode 1.
I didn't even
Um,
notice that. You're totally right.
Yeah. So it's just it's an odd selection for this scene in particular.
And
They
you
didn't
have
even throw in
one who's a council member, but not a master.
yeah, specifically. It's also weird too that Obi-Wan is in his episode 2 appearance, not his old man appearance that he would have been.
Yeah,
with
that seems
Yeah.
wrong.
Yes, it's making me ask some questions about like, did they just lift these images from somewhere? Are they just putting in
Yeah.
the most recognizable group of Jedi? Like, it just seems a little bit lazy to me.
I guess Ewan McGregor at this point, probably more people know him as Obi-Wan than
Alec
Guinness.
Yeah, but again, like, okay, so you're just gonna pander to that and just
Yeah.
ignore Alec Guinness in the original trilogy,
Yeah,
or what's going
totally.
on here?
Yeah. Good point. I didn't even look at any of that because they've got old Yoda there. Like Yoda's got. I mean, there's always old
Yoda's
Yoda, I
always
guess.
been
Yeah,
old.
that's. But he looks more like the episode 6 Yoda than episode 2 Yoda. But they've got episode 2 Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So, so the only information I was able to pull in terms of was just this kind of quick tidbit here. It says, since Disney's acquisition of Lucasfilm, the Star Wars comic book sales have generally been successful, contributing significantly to the overall revenue generated by the franchise. While specific sales figures for comics are not always publicly available, which is what I was trying to look up for this kind of whole segment, but I couldn't find any numbers on it. Disney has indicated that Star Wars as a whole has generated nearly $12 billion in value for the company. And this includes revenue from various sources, including comics. The comics, alongside other media like films and television series, have helped to make Star Wars a highly profitable property for Disney. Now, again, what Christian said, I think, relative to what is the question.
Yeah, it's also important when stuff like Disney's also puts out a lot of PR and things like what you just said in terms of revenue. Those choices of words are very specific for that reason, because you got to factor in the costs and things of production and all that, as well as the original purchase price of the franchise. Like, they're not giving you the full story there. It sounds very much like it's a PR move to say, hey, look how good we're doing, while downplaying all the negatives.
Yeah, and there's maybe a bit of lying with statistics here. So like, 13 billion, whatever they got there. And they're specifically they're not saying even revenue, they're just saying in value. So that's like
so
a
there
bunch
you
of
go.
people adding on the balance sheet what all the assets are worth, not actually talking
What it's
about
profiting. Yeah.
And on that note, like Disney itself is on public trading is listed at nearly $220 billion. So 12 billion of 220 billion is like 5% or whatever. Yeah. So a pretty small part of what they do. Now, to be fair, I mean, Disney has huge they have huge theme parks and blah, 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 and streaming services, which I'm sure are bigger in and of themselves.
Again, though, streaming services, the word on the street is they're not doing, like, all of them are not doing well financially considering their costs.
Yeah.
So you gotta wonder. There's a lot of stuff that's very opaque, and of course, the companies are all incentivized to give the best image of. I wouldn't even say foot forward, just like PR. Even lying, like Jordan said, lying with statistics to camouflage how bad things may actually be behind the scenes. So yeah,
you were saying, Christian, that when we touched on High Republic, that it sounded like you were saying it's not doing too bad. Do you know?
No, what I'm saying is I've heard both sides. I've heard people claiming that it's an absolute flop. Others are claiming that it's not doing well. It has had some hits. Couple of its books, I think, hit the NYT bestseller list, and even that chart,
which isn't hard, by the way.
Right, I was gonna say
there's a bunch of shenanigans with the New York Times bestseller.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, people, publishers literally buy
the
books in bulk and then put them on the New York Times bestseller, and you only need to do like 5,000 to 10,000. It's not even that much.
That's anything else.
And even still, the New York Times bestseller list still curates what they allow, even if you meet the criteria. They don't necessarily they don't like your book. You could sell 100,000 or 1 million copies of something, and they could just choose not to put you on the list. That is what a few years back when Jordan Peterson released one of his books, he was never put on the New York Times bestseller list.
Even though
whatever,
he sold like millions of copies.
yeah, whatever you think of him, he definitely was like the #1 bookseller on Amazon, right? Like, so there's
Crazy.
no way you're not the #1 bestseller on Amazon, and also the #1 on New York Times. But
Right.
anyways, yeah, just a bit of a bit of a rabbit trail on New York Times bestsellers list. But I don't know if because they could hypothetically do that with every book. So if one or two of the books made it, who knows if that was being they call it spoofing, if they were spoofing the book
charts.
sales or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, there's other ways to game systems too, especially when you have the amount of influence that Disney has, right? Like, it's not hard to buy critics and buy internet clout. But again, so I all this stuff is so opaque, and it's part of that opaqueness that just makes me suspicious of everything.
Yeah. We're very cynical and conspiratorial about Disney.
But have we been wrong? That's the question. Yeah. So I wouldn't go as far as confirming that it's a flop. I would say it's, and again, it's all relative, right? Like, how much money are they pumping into the production of this series versus how much is it generating back for them, right? Is it as popular as like some of the height of the EU stuff? I would argue it's probably not. But does it also make that an absolute failure? Like, that's a pretty high bar to try and overcome. So yeah, it's just the fact that you're speaking in relative scales mixed in with the opaqueness of it all. It's just really hard to say for sure. My gut would tell me that it's not very popular, but
yeah. And I will say, like, as people who are obviously critical of the Disney handling of the property, you always have to just try and go into everything with a clean slate, and just read the books on their own terms and try to leave your previous bad experience, the taste of that out of your mouth. And I have also heard some people say there's some not bad books in it, but again, and there is especially in like the Star Wars sort of media space, there's a lot of clout chasing and clickbait and rage bait. So on both, I will say this, on both sides of the aisle. So there people who probably have never encountered any of the, or like read any of the content or anything like that, or seriously engaged in any of Disney's like High Republic content, and they'll just rage bait all day about it, right? And without actually engaging with the content. I do think if you are going to have like a substantive critique of it, you should at the very least engage with it and before you're gonna say anything. And I'm not yes, go ahead.
Or don't give them your money.
Yeah.
I've been, like, you can give people so many chances, and then when they burn you enough times, like, just stop giving them your money. You don't owe them anything.
It's kind of the boat
I mean, on the High Republic, I just kind of remain ambivalent, or almost.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not conclusively saying one way or the other until I've engaged with the material myself. But that's what public libraries are for. So we'll get there eventually. But I'm just saying, you don't have to give them money to find out that it's bad. But you should at least engage with the material before you pass a judgment, let's say.
Yeah, Praxis in the chat says, if Kathleen was gone and Legends started being made, how excited would you be? I think we have sort of talked about a fun alternate universe if that happened, where like the Legends canon was continued, or they did some sort of multiverse where they allowed it to continue. I'd be pretty stoked, but that doesn't necessarily mean the continued EU expanded universe wouldn't also just turn to crap either. So
yeah, would they just wreck something that was already good?
Yeah.
And just should have been left alone.
Yeah.
Do you need a Mona Lisa 2 is the question.
Yeah.
Always.
Or if you're offering to go back and paint over the Mona Lisa, will that be better?
Especially with AI, man, guys. Oh, I would lap it up like a dog. It would be disturbing.
I have heard and read about, I haven't read them myself, but some authors have written like Star Wars fan fictions, and you can read it for free. They're not allowed to sell it, but it's they can post it for free. And they're like entire novelizations. And some people say they're like pretty good, and they're sort of in the expanded universe, right? So maybe that's just the way to go, is to just do it like your own fan universe and build off it there.
Man, and you know they're really doing it for love if they're not making money off of it.
Totally. Yeah.
It's all for the love of the game.
Yeah.
All right. So kind of one of the last things I want to touch on before we got into some other stuff. Have you guys been? Have you guys? So back in May, kind of end of May, early June, Battlefront 2 had like a crazy resurgence of players. So yeah, during the last week of May, Battlefront 2 had made a huge resurgence, hitting an all-time high player count. Now, the numbers on this is kind of throwing me off, because I read some stuff saying it was like hitting 100,000 concurrent players, which is actually insane. And then other things were saying it hit an all-time high player count of 35,000 players. And the most legitimate number I could kind of see floating around was 35,000, which is still no small fry, especially judging by the fact that it was sitting around like 3,000 average players. So it 10x'd its player count out of nowhere. Like things just kind of like the game just kind of re-exploded and became revitalized. Now the player count has since normalized back to the pre-pump average of about like 3,000 to 5,000 concurrent players. And it was kind of like trending for a couple weeks, especially on Steam. Everybody was kind of like coming back to Battlefront, and I know they'd fixed a bunch of stuff at that point. I think years before, they got rid of the loot box system that everybody was super mad about and things like that. But yeah, it just kind of like made a huge resurgence kind of out of nowhere. And then that kind of sparked rumors and discussion about like a Battlefront 3. Yeah, have you guys played it? What's your thoughts kind of on that? Battlefront 3, like yay or nay? Oh, sorry, I missed the thing. And then all of that kind of, the Battlefront 3 rumors really came to a head when there was a Redditor who claimed to be an ex-developer, saying that the game was being pitched to like higher ups at EA and that there were plans to make it. Now, I couldn't confirm any of that information. But yeah, just overall Star Wars gaming in general, like the current state of that, rumors of Battlefront 3, like kind of what are your guys' takes or thoughts on any of that?
Speaking to having played the game, yeah, I actually played it fairly recently.
Didn't you have it on your
was
phone?
before.
I thought you were playing it on your phone.
No, that's a different one.
Oh.
But I did get into Battlefront 2 fairly recently, and I wasn't part of that first wave. Like, I was pretty down on Star Wars across the board, books, movies, games. Like, I just stopped engaging with the material, so I hadn't played any Star Wars games for a very long time. And then out of nowhere, I just picked it up, and like I said, it was before the resurgence, so I wasn't part of like whatever it was that brought in all these influx of players. It was all right. I still feel, and I don't know if it's nostalgia speaking or not, but I liked the play style of the older Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront 2. And to be fair, like I was a big fan of the original Battlefront games as well. It wasn't a bad game by any means. It was certainly fun, but it for whatever reason it didn't retain my attention for a long time. I have a whole opinion piece. We might do a whole episode on Battlefront 2 specifically and talk about the campaign and things. But overall, yeah, it was all right. It was a decent game for sure. I do know also, I don't remember if it was DICE or EA that did Battlefront 2, but I know they were also taking a lot of heat. Yeah,
The new
they were taking a lot of heat.
Nice.
Yeah.
DICE.
Wait, hang on. I don't know.
I will say, regards to the question,
by EA, maybe?
I don't know.
I will say in regards to the question of if there'll be a Battlefront 3, I think that's probably inevitable. Whether they're actually like right in the middle of development or have greenlit anything right this second. I don't know, but I do think I'm sure there'll be another one.
Yeah, eventually. I mean, they've already done 1 and 2 twice already, so
Yeah.
Yeah, and as far as Star Wars games go, I do enjoy it. Like I said, I enjoy the whole Battlefront franchise.
Yeah.
I wouldn't complain. If they put out a 3. As long as they keep a lot of the crap that brought down Battlefront 2, like Frank was saying, like loot boxes and unethical practices. EA does own DICE.
Oh, nice.
At the time, I don't know if they own them, but I knew there was a whole EA boycott going on too at some point that I may or may not have been involved with. So that might have been also a contributing factor as well. But
yeah, but what I do you know? I wasn't able to
Battlefield.
Go ahead.
What's that?
Am I lagging?
I know Battlefield is set to make. I think so. Battlefield, which is kind of what Battlefront is a spin-off of. It seems like they're going to have a big comeback. There's a lot of hype around the new Battlefield game coming out soon.
Yeah.
So if Battlefront 3 is anything like that, then I am sure it will blow everything out of the water. If and when it ever drops, but
skin the new Battlefield with Star Wars and call it
Star
a day.
Wars. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, so the hype is up there right now. So if it does ever come out, as long as they stay with whatever the winning formula might be. To be fair, Battlefield, the new Battlefield 2 might be a total flop. It might be all hype, but I know the demos have come out and people are pretty optimistic about it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Sorry, is that any better?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
I don't know.
Missed that last part, but that's okay.
Good.
But yeah, in terms of the bump that kind of took place, I wasn't really able to find anything about why that happened and where it just kind of like re-exploded.
When was that bump?
It was kind of like end of May, early June. It's so weird. 10x'd its player count. Some sources say 10x, some say even more than that. But the most accurate number I could find was like at least 30,000 concurrent players from like an average of 3,000 to 5,000.
Okay, like our own podcast, maybe a little bit before that, but like early April into May into June had like a huge boost in downloads, like around the same time.
Crazy. So I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I wonder if it's just like Star Wars or something was in the zeitgeist for some weird reason. I don't know.
I mean, if our bump was first, I would love to take some credit for the Battlefront numbers voting. If we could get any kind of
unconfirmed, but we can make only assume.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Delta in the chat says he was playing Helldivers. Get out of here, you filthy animal.
It's so good. We'll have to squad up their Delta squad because that is, it is fantastic. Jordan, we'll have to drag you into it, dude. It's so good.
Well, I gotta get a new the new Xbox, which I don't have. So,
yeah.
All right, Frankie, your hot takes. What are your hot takes?
So, hot takes for this week. My hot take is actually a fan theory that I found from a Reddit user. Which I really, really like, and let's see kind of what everybody thinks. So the fan theory was that while Luke was between episodes 5 and 6, when Luke returns to Return of the Jedi with his green lightsaber, there's a fan theory out there saying that Luke spent time back on in Obi-Wan's hut, doing training and that kind of stuff to become a Jedi Master. And he, in going through Obi-Wan's hut on Tatooine, he finds the green crystal that belonged to Qui-Gon Jinn from Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber, which I think is super, super cool. And I want to believe that is in fact what took place.
That's canon.
Yeah, for sure. I remember
Uh,
seeing
it
that
might-
green lightsaber as a kid, being like, "Whoa, that's so cool."
Sorry to burst your bubble, Frankie, but it is not canon either in the EU or Disney canon. It is a nice thought. I mean, you could headcanon it, but it is actually confirmed that Luke's lightsaber, the green one, is actually a synthetic crystal.
Oh, I knew that too. I knew that. My hopes and
But
everything.
they should have done the other one.
Yeah, for sure.
Qui-Gon's lightsaber. Yeah.
Yeah, Qui-Gon.
That's
It'd be
just
cool to have that kind of continuity through it, like, and bring Qui-Gon into the mix of
Yeah.
the later series.
Dude, imagine that as like a cool little comic book arc. That'd be super cool. Like, and then he does like some training on Tatooine too with like Force Ghost Obi-Wan, gets his like master robes, throws it in his dad's face when he kills him. Like, just super
If you
cool.
want, Frankie, I guess the door is open to write your Star Wars fanfic. So, as we were saying earlier, now's the time of the fans to write their stories. I'm personally looking forward to dropping my Wookiee snuff erotic film series. So keep an eye out for that.
That makes me want to growl like a Wookiee.
I know what the ladies like.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think with that, that's all we got for tonight. So that was fun, boys. Any final departing thoughts?
Yeah, I'm very quickly running out of hot takes. So if people can email other hot takes to the Star Wars.
We can credit you with the hot take, or if you want Frankie to take the heat for the hot take.
Yeah, we can discuss them in that area. That would be great. I will be the voice of your terrible takes.
Going back a little bit to Battlefront 3 real quick. I did want to mention too that the modding community is also pretty big with it, and there's a lot of cool mods available for
Oh,
Battlefront.
really?
Yeah, so if you
That's
do
cool.
want to get in there and check out some of the niche mods that exist for that game, there's a lot of really cool ones.
Yeah. One parting thought, Delta Squad in the chat says, what about the Mando movie? I think we maybe addressed this before, but I'm not optimistic. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us.
We'll have to talk about it maybe in the next live stream. We'll do some.
We've already, I don't know, we've already beat that dead horse. You can go back to our old live streams. We talk about the upcoming Mando film. I'm just gonna wait till it comes out, and I don't really have anything else to say about it.
And then we'll crap all over it.
Yeah. So yeah, anyways, if you guys make sure to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also find us on all our social medias, Instagram, Facebook. We're also on Discord. All the links to all our stuff will be in the description of this episode, so make sure to follow us. You can also email us, starlordspodcast@gmail.com. If you want to jump on a live stream, you're welcome to jump on the live stream. I usually send out an invite in the Discord. If anyone, we'll usually have a spot for one extra person to come in. We could do max 4. And otherwise, you're welcome to join us in the chat. With that, thanks everyone. Starlords Podcast, patreon.com/Starlords to support the show. Peace.
See you guys.